Hi, it's Chad with Heirloom Farm and Forge, and today we're going to build a barn. Got this spot right here, kind of on top of the hill. This is the winter pasture for the cows, and they don't really have much to block the wind. So we're going to build a barn so they can get in it when it gets cold and blocks the wind for them. So first thing we got to do is lay it out on the ground and get it all good and square so we know where to drill our post holes. So let's get to it. Okay, the first thing that we have to do is get our back line, a straight back line to start squaring it off of. And we're going to run a string down through there. So we oversized this back line. You'll see why in a bit. Otherwise the stakes are going to be right in our way when we go to drill the post. I'm going to come in 5 foot to be the actual corner of the barn. I'm going to measure 30 foot down the string, and that's going to be the other corner of the barn. So the most important part of the layout is to get this first corner square. And we have a little trick to do that. It's called the 3-4-5 trick. So if you have one side is 3 foot or multiples thereof, and the other side is 4 foot, then the angle between these two will be 5 foot if this is square. And it's in multiples too, so you could take each of them times 2, times 3, times 4, times 10, so you could do 30, 40, 50, and it all works out the same. This barn is going to be 15 by 30. Seriously?
It's not my fault.
All the kids got to poop.
I don't.
So we're going to take our 3, 4, and 5 times 10. We've got 30 foot this way. We're going to go 40 foot that way, and we'll make it 50 foot across. And the easiest way to do this is with 2 tape measures. Take 40 foot on my tape, 50 foot on Layla's tape, and intersect them. This is the square corner. What you need to do is come down that line that we just made and mark it at 15 feet, because that's going to be the actual corner of the barn. So I'm going to go 15 feet on mine, and she's going to go 30 feet on hers, and where they intersect, this is the opposite corner. Now that we've got our 4 corners marked and squared, I'm going to go along and make a paint mark at every 10 feet, and that's where all our posts are going to go.
That only took 20 minutes.
Doesn't matter. Gets edited. So we had to make some adjustments. It wasn't exactly square, but you can check it by measuring corner to corner, and then think of it as a square. And if a square is this way, then this cross measurement will be longer than the other one. So that means you have to move these up and kind of split the difference between what they're off.
Whatever that means.
Got these telephone poles from my father-in-law from when the rural co-op changes them out, and farmers always want them. And they're okay for building barns. Since this is just a wind block barn, they'll be okay for that. Some people use them as fence posts. I would not use them as fence posts because these things are like 30 years old whenever they change them out. So they're not going to last that terribly long. But being under the cover of a barn, especially just a wind block, they'll be fine for that. So we're going to cut them up with a chainsaw. We're going to cut them too long because we don't know exactly where our roof is going to be, and then when we get some rafters on, we'll just cut them off flush with the rafters.
Sorry if you don't like spiders, but I love spiders. Whoa. It looks a lot deeper in person.
So I like to put these little landscaping blocks in there as a foundation. I don't know if it really does any good, but it sure can't hurt. So just put them in there, Layla. Oh no, it's all crooked. Now what are we gonna do?
Well, I don't know. If I get in there, will you lift me out?
By your feet? That's what they used to do with me when I was a kid. When we got into a bunch of rock, and we had to take a bar and bust up the rock, and then they would lower me down by my feet into the hole, and I'd grab a handful of rocks and pull it out.
I think you'd get arrested by CPS.
That's what makes a man of you. You don't want to be a man, though, huh? All right, let's see your new secret technique.
See? When you throw it down instead of drop it down.
Yeah.
That's flat.
That's much better.
Yeah, how to do that
Looks like we're too far that away.
But look at how cool it looks.
Stonehenge?
Yeah.
Now I gotta put the strings back on so that I can get these poles square. This is probably the hardest and most important part. You also gotta pay attention to whether you drove your stakes inside the layout or outside the layout, because that's gonna make a difference when you pull it. Pretty sure I drove mine inside. Pretty sure. But we'll give it a try and then we'll check and make sure it's right. So then you got to get everything out of the way that's touching the string. Some of it's on the pile of dirt, one of the posts is leaning against it. You got to get that all out of the way, or else it's not going to be, it's going to affect the straightness of the string. You got to make sure you pull these strings really tight and wrap them around twice around each stake. Just creates more friction and helps keep it tighter. If you wrap it around the stake twice or 3 or 4 times, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but And then you take this and just put it up over there. That creates friction on that, and it holds it in place. We got to get these posts straight up and down, plumb, and be in the right spot in the hole, 1.5 inches away from the string, because we're going to put nailer boards on the outside, and that's going to be the actual outside measurements of this. So we're going to put brace boards on them so that when we get them perfect, we can screw them solid, and then we'll tamp the dirt in there to hold them in place. You all right? All right, now we got this one braced. We got it 1.5 inches from the lines and mostly plumb. Now we just got to do that on the other 3 corners.
Now it's time for the most fun part, apparently.
Put the dirt in, a little at a time, all the way around. And then tamp, tamp, tamp.
How'd you make it?
Made it this morning while you were still sleeping.
Well, I had to catch up on sleep. So I just shove the dirt down.
Not yet.
I mean, like
You
with
put
that.
in a few inches and then you tamp it. Put in a few inches more and you tamp it.
Oh. That's a lot.
Tamper works pretty good.
Yeah. I thought it would be too, like... What was that?
You like
I think it's just a bee. Oh. It's one of your ladies. He calls his bees his... He calls his bees his ladies.
Tamp, Layla. Tamp, tamp, tamp like you mean it.
I'm trying.
When I was a kid building fence, my grandpa used to say you need to get all of that dirt that came out of the hole back in the hole. And I'd say, but Grandpa, there's a post in there now. And he says, that's right. It's got to be tighter than it was before.
How's that possible?
It's possible. We did it.
Tamp it. Tamp or die.
I am tamping or dying.
Tamp it.
Get the tamping or get the dying.
Tamp it.
Tamping with all we got.
Tamp until you cough up blood out of your eyes.
And then tamp a little more.
And then tamp more, because you're a real man. Tamp!
I'm tamping, Layla.
Okay, good. I didn't know.
More dirt, Layla.
More dirt.
So there. We got all the post plumb and about half tamped in, just in case we need to push them around with a skid steer or something. But that's what I wanted to get done today.
Still tamping? How many days has it been now we've been tamping?
2 days of tamping, not
No.
full days.
Yeah, 2 days of non-stop tamping. We don't even sleep.
That's not.
I had tamped so much today.
You haven't tamped squat today. It's next weekend and we're back on this barn project. Luckily, my father-in-law has hoarded a bunch of lumber for lots of years, and now it's time to put it to use. It's pretty awesome. We found these 25-foot long 2x4s and some 20-foot 2x6s. It's not going to be enough lumber for all of it, but it's going to be a lot of it. So let's get on this thing. We can take our bracing off now. Our posts are set and tamped in, and let's get on it. Good job, baby. So the first thing I want to do is mark the low side of the roof. It's just going to be one continuous sloped roof called a lean-to or shed roof. I want to mark the low side on the highest side of the ground. So I want the lowest to be about 7 foot, and then the roof's going to slope up to the front side from there. This is the north side. This side's going to be enclosed to stop the north wind in the winter, and mark about 7 foot on this post, and that's where the top of my board is going to be to set the roof on. And I'm also going to go down here and just put a screw about 7 foot or a little less actually to set the other end of the board on, because Ruby can't quite reach 7 foot. And now I'm going to put a level on it and make sure I get that thing perfectly level. So now I'm going to try to figure out the roof pitch on the end here to see where my top set of boards is going to be and what the angle of the rafters is going to be. So I set this up on that board and put a level on it and marked it going straight up and down. And I can take my speed square and find out what that angle is and cut the same on both sides, the same angle. I tend to come up flush here, and then I'll just hang my roof tin over like an inch or inch and a half or something to help the water to shed off of it. So I've got my line here. I put my speed square, the pivot, this line here on the corner of the line that I drew, and I pivot this until it's flush with my line. And what I got here is a 9-degree angle on this. So that'll tell me what I should make on the other end. I need to measure it so that they're all the same. So to do that, when I'm by myself, basically, I'm going to start a screw in there. I'm going to hook my tape measure on that and measure it. So I went 15-10, which means I'm going to have a 10-inch overhang on the front. So I'm going to take my speed square and do the same thing. Pivot it to 9 on the edge of my speed square. Then when I mark this, it'll be the same angle as what we did on the other end. There, there's our first rafter. And then that lets us know where we can start the front beam, I guess. So we'll start here and then we'll level that thing all the way across. Hope all my posts are long enough. That's what I was afraid of. It's hard doing this stuff by yourself, but Layla's probably out of bed now. Maybe I better go get her to help. So now I'm just going to go down from the top of that board and mark 2, 4, and 6 foot, and that's where our 2x4 nailers are going to go. And since I measured from the top, that 2 foot is going to be where the top of the 2x4 is. Now we're going to put our nailer boards on the sides, and we're going to put them every 2 foot, and that's where we're going to screw our tin to. And the building's 30 foot long, and we only have 20 footers. Well, there were 25, but we cut 5 foot off, so they will break on a post. And so we're going to stagger those as well, so they're not all have the joints on the same post. They're coming for us.
What? True.
Ruby said they're just coming by to see our barn. much time anyway. So that's about half of how we built our pole barn. Be sure and click on the second half to see us finishing up. It's way more satisfying than this part. Thanks for watching.